On the 14th of January, I was at work. I was just walking normally. I just felt a slight pain in my back and my just a shooting pain down my leg. Finished my day's work on the Thursday. Worked full all day on the Friday, because I was off work on Saturday. So I figured by the time Saturday comes around, that I would be okay. With just a little bit of rest. There was just a slight pain and slight swelling in my leg. I just thought I was overtired. On Friday at 3:00 in the morning, I woke up, and on Saturday morning actually, this is what I woke up to. My leg was so swollen and I was in so much pain that it actually woke me up. Actually, I woke up coughing. That's what woke me up. I called emergency services. Paramedics came. A paramedic came. As soon as he arrived, he said to me that he looked at the leg. He actually had to cut the trousers off my left leg, because it was swollen to 3 times the size of the right, that the trousers could not go up past my calf. And if you look at the picture in the right, you can see that those trousers go all the way up my thighs. That's how swollen my left leg was. He immediately called an ambulance, and I was told that I had to be taken to the hospital for assessment. That black X on my foot, he had to put it there because he had trouble finding a pulse in my leg, and he didn't want doctors or other paramedics thinking that the leg was dead, and possibly, thinking that it needed to be amputated. So that X was there to let them know that there was an active pulse when they were doing their assessments. So this picture, I was sent home. That was about 2 days after I was sent home. I did numerous tests at the hospital. I was sent home the very same day. And then the hospital rang me 2 days after with my test results. I did lots of blood tests. I did x-rays. I had ultrasounds, all sorts of possible tests, every question under the sun. And I was told that I had a DVT, which is deep vein thrombosis, a very large blood clot in the upper quadrant of my leg, which is close to the groin area. And that blood clot, a little bit of it had broken off and traveled to my lungs, which caused the pulmonary embolism, which is what caused me to cough. And for about a day or two, I wasn't able to lie on my back. The leg was so swollen that I wasn't able to walk on it properly, and I was in such agonizing pain. I had to be put on codeine and 1,000 milligrams of paracetamol every 4 hours, and I had crutches to walk on because the swelling was all the way up my leg. I couldn't wear underwear properly. I had to wear trousers because my normal underwear and clothing, it was just too tight. It couldn't fit over the thigh. It also caused me to have a bit of incontinence, because anytime I needed to use the toilet, I had to go. I had to wear pads and stuff because I was wetting myself, because for some reason my bowel couldn't hold in the urine, so that as well was a problem for me. Plus, all the pain made me extremely fatigued to the point where I could barely eat anytime I walked or stood up for more than a minute or two. I had to sit down because I was in such pain, and it tired me out to the point where I would just I needed to rest. I would just fall asleep because I was so drained from the exertion of just standing up and walking just a few yards. The hospital prognosis was that I would not be able to function normally for a minimum of 3 to 6 months or even longer. all the tests and everything they did, there was no underlying cause for it. I was healthy. I was quite young. I had no health issues in my family, nothing to indicate or to let them know the reason why this had happened. Right, this picture gives a much better view of my foot. As you can see, the toes are so swollen. There's barely any space there. Whilst I was at the hospital, I'd already used ancient African remedies. I knew that they had remedies for various ailments, and I had used them before successfully. Never doubted for a second that if they had anything, it would help. I contacted them to let them know what the doctor said this was, and I was recommended the 501 remedy as well as the organ detox for the swelling and to help increase my blood flows, because at that time the hospital had put me on blood thinners. That's because that's the only thing they could do to allow my body to reabsorb the clot. There is no cure. There was nothing else that they could do to stop this from happening. It was just a matter of waiting and letting my body do what it needed. So I contacted Ancient African Remedies on the 18th, and on about the 6th of February, I received the remedies, and I started with the 501 as well as with the 501 first to help with the blood flow, and then the organ detox, the 501 that helped with the swelling, and then the organ detox to help with the blood flow and to clean everything out. This picture was taken on the 14th of February, which is 2 weeks after I started the 501. And as you can see, the swelling had gone down. Not only that, my energy levels started to go back up to the point where I started feeling less and less ill. And I had stopped taking the painkillers because by that point the pain was manageable. I was still walking with crutches outside, but inside the house I had managed to walk around the house without crutches, just to lean on things, and I was able to stand for longer. I wasn't out of breath as much, and generally overall within just 2 weeks of taking the 501, there was a significant improvement in the way I felt and in the way my leg looked. This final picture you see here was taken on Tuesday, which is the 16th of March. Now, considering the doctor said my prognosis was 3 to 6 months minimum before I could even walk, this picture tells you different. By the time I finished the 501 and the organ detox, my body was completely healed. I have very little swelling to go. There is absolutely no pain at all whatsoever. All my symptoms, everything are gone. And you can see there are creases in my knees. My thighs are almost back to normal. And I am going back to work on Monday. So if it hadn't been for Ancient African Remedies, I would still be sitting in bed, crying in pain on codeine, blood thinner injections, blood thinners, unable to breathe properly, unable to walk, unable to do all sorts of things. And right now I am so happy that I'm going from basically not being able to stand for more than 2 minutes to back at work in less time than the doctors told. Now considering I only started it on the 6th of February, so that means just over 1 month's time, 1 month of taking the remedies, and I'm almost 100%. I am at 90 to 95%, and that is by and large thanks to Ancient African Remedies. And also, one thing I forgot to mention is that when they did the test, they found out I also had fibroids, and I had, that as well was causing me a lot of heavy bleeding with my cycles and a lot of pain. And the remedies I took, they helped with the fibroids as well. And last week, I had my period, and I just had the normal 1 day of cramps, and that was it. Back to normal. So, ancient African remedies work. That's why I will always recommend it to my friends, my family, to everyone. They work, they cure, it does what it says on the tin. And if it hadn't been for them, I would still be laid up in bed. So thank you, ancient African remedies. Thank you.